VOA News. I'm Christopher Cruz reporting. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Sunday the U.S. will win any trade war with China. He spoke to Fox News the day before the administration's latest tariffs on Chinese imports go into effect. He said the U.S. wants to, quote, force China to behave in a way that if you want to be a global power, you do not steal intellectual property. The Trump administration has been demanding that China better protect American intellectual property, including ending the practice of cyber theft. Although two organizations have claimed responsibility for an attack on a military parade in Iran Saturday, on Sunday, President Hassan Rouhani continued to blame the United States. The Islamic State and a group calling itself the Arab Struggle Movement for the Liberation of Ahvaz have both said they were behind the attack on the parade. 25 people were shot and killed. Also Sunday, U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley told ABC News that Rouhani should consider talking to President Trump. Police and supporters of Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega fought in Managua Sunday, with demonstrators calling for the release of people imprisoned during recent protests. At least one person was killed in the fighting. Hundreds of protesters carrying Nicaragua's blue and white flag gathered in the eastern part of the capital in the morning after squads of police prevented the demonstrators from reaching the city center. The Afghan Taliban has warned the United States against meeting what it called fake and fraudulent Taliban delegations. It said such contacts could, quote, seriously harm any possible genuine process of dialogue. This is VOA News. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee and lawyers for the woman who has accused Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault have reached a tentative agreement that the woman will testify before the committee on Thursday. The two sides reached the deal over the telephone Saturday and were expected to further negotiate on Sunday the terms of the woman's appearance before the committee. The lawyers say their client has gotten death threats and has met with FBI agents to discuss their safety. Israel has put the residents of a West Bank village on notice that they must demolish their homes in a week. A statement from the Israeli Defense Ministry on Sunday said residents of Khan al-Amar received a notice today requiring them to demolish all the structures on the site by October 1st. It was not immediately clear what would happen if the Palestinians do not dismantle their homes. Israel says the village was built without proper permits, but it is almost impossible for Palestinians to obtain proper building permits. Many people in Tanzania were mourning Sunday as the first 12 bodies were buried from a ferry accident that left at least 224 people dead. The accident happened on Thursday. The overcrowded ferry was traveling to a popular open-air market when it capsized about 50 meters before reaching the shore. It made a sharp turn and then immediately tipped. Although the maximum capacity for the ferry was 100 people, it's estimated as many as 300 people could have been on board. Maoist insurgents fatally shot a lawmaker visiting a tribal area in southern India on Sunday after the insurgents put up posters warning politicians not to travel there. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday announced the world's biggest health insurance plan. He promised free health care for 500 million of the country's poorest citizens. Modi says the plan will benefit more than the population of the United States, Canada, and Mexico combined. He said it would provide health care to the bottom 40% of India's 1.25 billion people. It would give the country's 100 million lowest-income families about $7,000 in annual health insurance to treat serious ailments. India spends about 1% of its annual GDP on public health. That's among the lowest in the world. Many of the poorest just go without care. The plan is expected to cost the central and 29 state governments $1.6 billion a year. You can find more on these and other late-breaking and developing stories from around the world around the clock at voanews.com. I'm Christopher Cruz. VOA News.